some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. We have all of the headlines, most of them, well, it's a bit worrying, and there is snow still falling in Indiana. Thank goodness that it is just flurries because, I just can't deal with any more snow. Okay, hopefully we are back on not crazy audio, but it's not on the right one. What in the world? Okay, we should be back on the right mic. So let's go in and get into these headlines. So we do have a lot, and you guys, whatever is going on in Mexico, I will be the first one to tell you. I don't know enough to give you more than what the headlines are saying, but I will give you kind of my standard advice with, fresh, heartbreaking news, especially news this big. This is going to be an updating story. If you're really interested about this, I'm guessing that the story is going to come out, in drips and drabs. So there are a lot more places other than Mornings with Mo if you want to get a, bigger kind of overview of what is going on. I would recommend going to those bigger channels. So I'll just give you a bit of an overview. But are US citizens or Californians more, kind of more, I guess, individually, that are allegedly trapped in areas of Mexico. Cartels are unleashing hell near the US border over the ending of a kingpin. California have been trapped as in Mexico as in popular tourist cities and spill toward the U.S. borders. Now, Americans in Puerto Vallarta were urged to stay indoors as narco gangs went on a bloody rampage after the leader of the JNC cartel, or the Jalisco New Generation cartel, Nemesio El Mencho Augustera Cervantes, was killed in a military raid on Sunday. Now, again, this is a bit worrying. So I'm guessing we are going to hear more news, and it is going to be, okay, I have no idea what's going on with the internet. Let me look and make sure I've got everything going. Okay, high definition, audio. Okay, let me look at it because Uh, hopefully, it is simply the cold. Uh, Otherwise, I have no idea because the power company is in the middle of fixing our neutral, whatever that is. So hopefully, the lords of the internet stay with us today. Now, the carnage has spread up the west coast of Mexico through Sunday, with reports of attacks getting closer to the states in Baja California. Okay, what in the world? Oh, because it was a different one. Okay, now I'm on the right microphone. I give up. Y'all, this is just gonna be a day. It is my phone. Let's duct tape and holy water, y'all. Duct tape and holy water is how we're gonna get through this. Now, gunfire has been shown on viral videos at the Guadalajara International Airport. So I have seen those videos, but again, I don't know how truthful it is that actual US citizens are being held hostage for some kind of international ransom or some kind of ability to parlay with the State Department. So there are kind of rampant stories of that. Okay, is it still wonky with the audio? Because it's on the right thing. Let me go out and come back in. All right, leave studio. Leave. Yes. All righty, let's see if that does any better. 'Cause if not, I have exhausted my ability to fixelate things, which is normal. Now, I do know that there are some issues as far as this going out to X, at least that's what they're reporting for outages. So hopefully that helped out a little bit. Otherwise, we have exhausted my technical abilities other than turning off my computer and turning it back on again. Though Mr. Mo is taking classes, uh, you know, to be able to take over my computer remotely. So this is great. We will figure it out. Now, cars and businesses were also set on fire for across the country in Cozumel, Playa de Cameron, Tulaman, and Cancun. So these are not isolated within one city of Guadalajara or other places. These are multiple high tourist areas that there are disturbances between the and I don't know whether the makeup artist is Hills and said, "We were told to shelter in place right now. We need to stay in the hotel. It's safer here." There are no flights going out of the airport to the United States, and we've rescheduled them for tomorrow afternoon. But a lot of US carriers and international carriers have suspended flights in and out of Mexico while there is this sort of international, kerfuffle going. So if you do have friends or relatives down in Mexico right now, tell them to listen to the government agencies. I mean, be smart, be safe, and keep the people that are down there in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, I pray for the Mexican citizens as well. I mean, they didn't ask for their country to become a war zone. Now, basically, that's what is going on. Do expect more reporting about this. This is an incredibly fluid situation, so I can give you guys, a little bit of updates, but I don't know enough about, international politics or anything to really have a hot take on this. But if you do have, uh, well, there is a yeah, it must be weather related because it's not showing it's not showing up, that I'm having buffering, so I am sorry for I'm actually going to the post office today to help my middle daughter get her first passport. So that will be exciting. So I will be able to check my post office box. So do keep an eye on this. And look, there's going to be politics involved in this. You're going to get, your left side, your right side, your middle side. So I would just remind you guys that this is a very fluid situation. So regardless of where everyone, falls on politics, and I don't care where you fall, I don't care what you think. I just ask that you think. Uh, do be mindful of this possibly being a big issue if you're planning vacations or things like that. So, this is not mainstream media. I'm not here to get you, Twitter pated and scared, but do be mindful of this. And if you're interested in it, I would go to a variety of different sources to try to get a fulsome idea of what's going on. But that is the news, and I'm sure we will get more updates here in the coming days and hours. Now, in other news, uh, we have a major, major blizzard that is going on the East Coast, mostly New England area, but it is causing major, major issues. I do believe that most of New York is shut down right now, along with other areas in New England. So if any of my viewers are watching from there, I hope that you are able to stay warm and toasty. If you are in this particular area or neck of the woods, reach out to, your neighbors. If you have trouble shoveling snow, things like that, take care of yourself, take care of others. And I hope that they can get power back and restored to all these people, because I know it is super cold. We are in the middle of a cold snap and it is flurrying out here in Indiana. So I do hope everyone is able to stay warm and safe. Millions along the East Coast are set to be getting hit by a massive blizzard that could drop as much as 24 inches of snow along the Northeast. Now, New York City is expected to be hit with at least 20 inches of snow and high winds up to 60 miles per hour. Now, the governor of New York has already declared a state of emergency for the city, Westchester County, and Orange County. Now, the newly elected mayor warned New Yorkers to stay inside, but declined to give a concrete answer on whether those who were homeless would be forced to stay on the street, just weeks after another very big, intense winter storm caused the loss of life for many homeless people under his administration. Yeah, so do be care. Well, Squad Bob, actually, I don't have a lot of merch yet, but I will be having a members only merch stream because, okay, look, y'all know me. We have a lot of news, we have a lot of headlines, but I may have, look, I am inordinately proud of this. Y'all know my technical skills, okay? But I have made up. Now, you guys might have seen this lovely little donkey around, and I've been wondering what to do with her. Well, she is Moxie, the emotional support ass. And I have created Moxie. Let's hope this goes. Come on. As I say, this button isn't working. I feel like expert. And nothing. Okay, we'll go back. What is going on today? Oh, for the love of Cheetos. Alrighty. I think it's just the...
Oh yeah, I take it down a minute and yeah. When the dark gets long and the tea is hot, and the emotions filed are quite a lot, when the state says boom and defense says pass, that's when I call my mini ass so classy and sass. Woo! Oh my side eyes gently from the stall. If the sidebar lasts all afternoon, she hums a brave and slightly off tune. She's pocket-sized but bold of heart, a fluffy illegal work of art. From board down woes to verdict day, she snacks on hay and leads the way. Oh, Moxie, queen of the pasture class, small bud, ruling the law to grass. When the timeline spirals and takes get funky, there's peace in a steadfast mini donkey. Clip-clop, courage, fluffy and spunky. All hail the emotional support as Moxie. Oh!
Yeah, so I made that. So when we get bored or tired, or if the defense turns out to be laughable, we will have that. I don't know if that is going to be my intro for this trial or not, but I was just inordinately proud of myself. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, King Bob. Let's hope the internet works, because apparently the storm is taking out my internet, because Mr. Mo says that his internet is fine. Uh, I don't know why. But do be mindful that this is a very big storm. It is even affecting things out in Indiana. This is actually lake effect snow from the big giant blizzard happening in Indiana. So this is a giant storm. This is really high wind. So do be mindful of that if you are planning to go to New England, and it is causing a lot of flights and travel to be delayed. So do be mindful of that if you are traveling. Well, I mean, it's not the size of the storm, it's the girth, not the length. Uh, and y'all knew I had to pop on this headline because it has a glamour shot, and you know that I am simply jealous I don't have a bedazzled jacket like this. But what in the Walmart rapture is this headline? Apparently a mom, like a North Carolina mom of 3, uh, just vanished 24 years ago and apparently has just been living her own life. Oh, wow, your business associate in New Jersey took the first flight yesterday to his visitor or is it his sister in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. Now, I saw this headline and I was like, "Do what now?" Because look, I am a mom of 6. I have joked about one day, especially when the youngest, most feral 3 boys were all under the age of 4. I have never been closer to changing my identity, getting on a cruise, and not coming back. Now, I mean, that being said, it was a joke, but there were moments like when they got lice and the norovirus at the same time. So lice in their hair and then the stomach flu, that I was ready to change my identity and join a cruise and never get off. Now, I wasn't going to change my identity that much because I was going to use the credit card, but Mr. Mo was going to come back. I was gonna have my bags packed and I was gonna see him in 3 weeks. Like, this was a possibility. I never did it though because it's a joke. Apparently, this mom done did it. She done changed her name and moved to Guam. A North Carolina mother of 3 who vanished over 2 decades ago has been found alive and living a new life, leaving her family reeling with questions about, well, why she disappeared, what was going on. According to authorities and reports, Michelle Lynn Hundley Smith, 38, disappeared in December 2001, leaving her home in Eden to do Christmas shopping at a Kmart in Virginia, according to Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Now, Smith's troubling disappearance prompted multiple agencies across North Carolina and Virginia, up to and including the FBI, to search for the mother of 3 for countless hours and pursue multiple investigative leads, according to authorities. Now, a missing person flyer was distributed at the time of her disappearance and noted that she should be considered endangered and that she wouldn't leave her kids by choice. Well, contrary to that assertion, 23 or 24 years later, Smith was found alive and well in an undisclosed location in North Carolina on Friday after officers received a tip. So you're telling me the FBI and the full forces of the federal government investigated this and couldn't find her in North Carolina, the same place that she escaped from. Well, I'm convinced and feel okay. Now, her current whereabouts were not disclosed, though her family has been notified that she's been located. I kind of want to go outside and scream, she's alive, said one of Smith's cousins, Barbara Bird. My biggest question to her is, will those go ever, and what happened? I never thought Michelle was dead. I knew she was alive. I just had a feeling my whole life. Now, in a lengthy statement to Facebook on Sunday, one of Smith's shocked children wrote that, quote, these last couple of days have been a whirlwind of emotion. As far as my opinions and my feelings on my mom, I'm ecstatic, I'm pumped, and I'm heartbroken. I'm all over the map. Will I have a relationship once more with my mom? She said in the statement post on Facebook account that was dedicated to her missing mother. Honestly, I can answer that because I don't even know. My initial reaction would be yes, absolutely. But then I think of all the hurt, but that even then, my mom's only human, just as we all are. And I I don't know. I think it's honestly the connection, but let me see if I take it off of auto, that will work. But I think it is just the big storm because I've gone in and out. So I don't know. Hopefully it will clear up, but it does seem like the storm is affecting the connection. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. The motive for her disappearance hasn't been made public. I do wonder if this is going to be something that will be more public later, after maybe they get more kind of information about it. So there you go. Well, I mean, what do I have to say? I don't think Jesus needs you to have this big of a mansion. A church prophetess has been linked to $50 million in money laundering forced labor schemes, according to the DOJ. But let me try to pop out and come back in to see if it'll help it again, because I don't want you guys to have to deal with crappy audio. So I will be right back in. All right, third time's a charm, maybe. We can always hope and or pray. A federal grand jury in Michigan has indicted a third defendant in an alleged forced labor conspiracy that is tied to the Kingdom of God Global Church, a sprawling ministry that prosecutors say used coercion, abuse, and threats of divine punishment to run a multi-state call center operation that brought in roughly 50 million dollars in donation over the last decade. Now, Kathleen Klein, 53, known within the church as a prophetess, was named in a superseding indictment returned on February 11th in the Eastern District of Michigan. Now, this is interesting because Michigan seems to be cracking down on kind of exploitative religious entities. They do have an investigation ongoing with the Twin Flames ministry. of the online kind of thing. So this is interesting that the Michigan DOJ seems to be on a bit of a rampage against, well, ridiculousness in the name of religion. So it is interesting to see this. We haven't had any more kind of confirmation or updates on the Twin Flames investigation, but it is going. So it will be interesting to see what comes out with that, when it seems like they've done a pretty good investigation on this particular case. Now she will join co-defendants David Taylor and Michelle Brannon, who were first indicted in July 2025 and arrested the following month with coordination from the FBI. Now, Klein is charged with conspiracy to commit forced labor, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Now, Taylor, the church's founder, and Brennan is executive director, each face an additional, 20 years per count of charges of forced labor and conspiracy to commit forced labor, along with money laundering and conspiracy. So all three of the defendants have denied any allegations. This case reflects the gravity of forced labor schemes that strip victims of their basic human rights and subject them to physical and brutal psychological abuse, to Assistant General A. Tyson Dova in a statement. Combating human trafficking is a top priority for the Department of Justice, and we will relentlessly pursue those who facilitate and profit from forced labor and fight to obtain justice for survivors. So it looks like the church that was formerly known as Joshua Media Ministries International and was headquartered in Taylor, Michigan. According to court filings, Taylor would refer to himself as an apostle and claimed to be Jesus Christ's best friend and second in command. Yeah, no. The Justice Department says that the church operated at least 9 call centers across Michigan, Missouri, Florida, and Texas. Now, prosecutors say victims were forced to work grueling hours, sometimes exceeding 20 hours per day, according to a federal indictment, soliciting donations on the phone without pay. Now, the workers were assigned aggressive daily, weekly, and monthly fundraising targets that the DOJ described as unobtainable. Now, according to the indictment, the workers were instructed to tell donors that their money would be used to build wells in impoverished parts of the world and to fight human trafficking, while the organization was allegedly trafficking the very workers who made those calls. Yeah, um, so this is actually a completely different church. This is actually it used to be called, uh, so it's the Kingdom of God Global Church. And it used to be, so the church used to be known as Joshua Media Ministries International. So it does look like there is a lot of kind of Michigan-based issues along or with kind of having these sort of not so great religious things. I don't know if this is a Michigan thing or it's something that happens in all states. Michigan is just taking over it. I don't know. I tend to not like televangelists of any flavor, stripe, or description, so I don't know. Now, according to documentation from the Department of Justice, those workers, volunteers that would fall short of their quota or push back faced a range of punishments from public humiliation, sleep deprivation, physical violence to withholding of food and shelter, forced repentance rituals, and threats of divine judgment in the form of sickness, accidents, death, or eternal damnation. So, yeah, this is pretty gross. And it doesn't look like any of that money went to, poor people wells. It looks like it went to mansions. So, yeah, really gross stuff. Now, in more true crime news, and this is probably a case that I won't cover when it's live. I need to step away from kid cases for a while, even if the kid is the defendant. But this is going to be really an interesting case, especially with how we treat, minors, as defendants. I have a pretty good feeling that he is going to possibly be treated as an adult. Where do we make that cut? So sometimes I don't bring you trials or information that may turn into a trial, but it definitely is an interesting case. And I think it is going to bring to the forefront how we look at youths who offend and do pretty heinous things. How are we going to deal with that as a justice system? An 11-year-old boy who allegedly took his father's life because he took away his Nintendo Switch will be making his first court appearance. Or I believe he already did. This, went up on the 21st, and I kind of take a weekend break from news, so he probably already had his first appearance. I don't believe it was streamed just because he is a kid. The 11-year-old boy who is accused of taking his father's life, now I do believe he was adopted, not that that means anything anywhere, but I do believe that, uh, when we read further into the article that he was adopted, this was a new home to him or he was in foster care. Now, Clayton Dietz appeared before a judge on Thursday, February 19th, as he waived his right to a preliminary hearing, according to local news reporting. Now, Clayton, who was previously denied bail on January 13th, was handcuffed when he was led in and out of the courtroom by officers. Now, after the hearing, the preteen's lawyer, Dave Wilson, told the local outlets that he had no comment on the case, but his goal was to get his client into juvenile court. So we will probably see a lot of wrangling as to whether he will be considered an adult or a minor. Now, Clayton is currently being tried as an adult. Clayton was charged with homicide after taking his father's life, Doug Dietz, in the early morning hours of January 13th, and that marked, his 11th birthday. Now, according to court documents that have been reviewed by people, the 11-year-old got mad at his adopted father when his Nintendo Switch was taken away and he was told to go to bed. Clayton later found a key to the safe in his father's drawer and unlocked it in hopes of finding the video game. However, he stumbled across a force multiplier. He then allegedly fired it at his dad. Now, when the police asked the 11-year-old what he thought was going to happen when he pulled the trigger, Clayton said, per the affidavit, that he was mad and he really didn't think about it, which is probably true. Sadly, horrifyingly, 11-year-olds don't think before they do stuff. That's why we don't let them make tough choices because they're 11 effing years old and they don't think about consequences. They don't think about cause and effect. They don't. Now, Douglas's wife, Jillian Dietz, told police that she and her husband sang happy birthday to their son before they all went to bed, and she later woke up to a the sound of a gunshot, according to local news. Now, she told police that she spotted Clayton in the closet where he allegedly said he's dead before running downstairs yelling, "My dad is dead," according to the outlet. Now, officials said that Douglas and Jillian adopted Clayton in 2018. Now, the next court date hasn't been scheduled yet, and he anticipates that they will be. The defendant's lawyer, so this little boy's lawyer, does anticipate that they'll be back in court around May. So, this really is a very sad story, and one of those things where I do wonder if charging an 11-year-old as an adult is right, but he did such a heinous thing. Look, I'm not smart enough to tell you what to think, and I don't even know how to deal with this half the time. So it will be interesting to see if he remains in adult court or if this goes to juvenile court, not only for whether or not this trial will be streamed, which is kind of way down on the list for me, but very much how we deal with, and I think this is going to be something we're gonna see more and more of. We basically cut off this generation of kids from social interaction for nearly 3 years, And we're going to start seeing more of this maladaptive behavior. So, what are we going to do about it? We as a society decided to lock down civilization for nearly 3 years. I mean, at, at what point do we as a civilization take a little bit of responsibility? But then again, he did something awful. He needs to pay for it. Look, I could go around and around, and I often do in my own head. So I don't know the answer, but I do think that this is going to be a big case and it's going to ask big questions about what we do with youthful offenders when they do big bad things. What do we do? Do we send them out? What's going to happen? So I do see that this one will be a big case for some of those bigger issues. Now, where am I going? Now, in another one, and I have not kept up with this case, admittedly, because like I said, I needed a break from children's cases, and this one broke my heart. I haven't kept up. I don't know what the story is here. I honestly have not paid attention to it, but it is starting to go where we are starting to see her getting ready for a trial. So Lindsay Clancy, the Boston nurse accused of taking the lives of her 3 children, has appeared in court for the first time. Now, the Massachusetts mother accused of taking the lives of her 3 children appeared in court for the first time ahead of her murder trial. Lindsay Clancy appeared solemn and unblinking as she was brought into the Portsmouth District Courtroom for a motion hearing on Friday in a wheelchair, which she is bound to after becoming a paraplegic from cutting her neck and jumping out of a window after taking the lives of her children. Now, Clancy previously appeared from a video from her hospital bed for hearings, listened as Judge William F. Sullivan and her lawyer set up a court date for March the 2nd for oral arguments on various issues, including her bid for a split trial. Now, the former nurse wants a trial for a jury to determine whether she was responsible for fatally taking the lives of her children. I remember why I couldn't do this one. No, that's her hair. Her children, Cora, 5, Dawson, 3, and 8-month-old Callan, with an exercise ban at their Massachusetts home in January 2023. Now, she has requested a second separate trial, which would allow jurors to decide whether she was suffering from a mental disease or defect when she took their lives. Now, her lawyer, Kevin Reddington, wrote in a filing ahead of the hearing. Now, the courtroom heard decisions about her upcoming May 10th mental evaluation to be conducted by an expert chosen by prosecutors. Now, Judge Sullivan said he wanted the exam to happen soon, adding that the test is going forward on that date no matter what. Now, Sullivan asked Clancy and her lawyer whether they wished for Clancy to be brought back into court in future for in-person hearings. Now, Reddington leaned over and spoke to Clancy before telling the judge, "I'd like to have her here. I'm very protective of her, and I don't want her to be stressed." I can I tell y'all that I don't give a rat's ass about her stress? Like, I'm not trying to be a butt monkey here, and look, if someone I have always said, what is the main mantra, the main golden rule of the Church of Mo? Whatever you're dealing with, whatever bull crap, whatever mental health, whatever it is that you are dealing with does not give you the right to let your bullshit run over and affect anyone else. Because we're all dealing with sucktastic things. But I don't really give a rat's ass about her stress, okay? Not all that much. I get he's her defense attorney, but I don't give two rat's asses. Let's see here. Now, according to him, and again, I knew I wasn't going to be able to be unbiased about this, so I haven't been covering this. Now, according to his client and the defense, Clancy was suffering from severe postpartum mental health issues during the time of the unalivings. It's a very emotionally draining thing. She's nervous and scared, and I want her to gradually acclimate. Now, the alleged mother claimed in a lawsuit that several doctors mismanaged her treatment of bipolar disorder, loading her up on a myriad of drugs from October to December of 2022, such as Zoloft, Trazodone, Prozac, Ambien, Remeron, Klonopin, Seroquel, Ativan, Valium, and Lamictal. She was overtaken by a quote unquote force and started hearing voices when she started taking the Seroquel the day that she took her children's lives. Now, her husband, Patrick Clancy, did file a separate lawsuit against her doctors, also claiming that she was over medicated to the point of hearing voices at the time of taking her life, the killings. Now, she has been diagnosed with postpartum disorder a year after her arrest, a condition that antidepressants usually make worse, according to the suit. She's a loving mother and always has been, Paula Musgrove, Clancy's mother, told the outlet after the hearing. Now, she has been on self-deletion watch at the Tewksbury State Hospital since her arrest, and her trial is set for July 2026 in Plymouth Superior Court. So, I look, I've dealt with postpartum depression, and, as a first-time mom, I was so embarrassed when I went to my doctor. I remember going to that doctor appointment, where you're, like, the 6 weeks after and, you wanna show off your baby, and I was just struggling so much, and I felt so bad, and I remember breaking down in the office. I was like, "I love her so much, but I'm just so sad." And he and this lovely doctor, lovely, he was like, "We know you love your daughter. It's okay. Your hormones are all crazy." And he took time, like, that's a miracle right there. For a 22-year-old mom who thinks like that she's doing, all the things wrong, that she's a terrible mom, that she can't be you know, as happy as she feels like she should be, and she's beating herself up, she's got no sleep, and for that doctor to take a minute and explain hormonally what was going on with my body that other moms struggled too, that was a miracle, and, took a lot of the shame off of it. I have a real hard time when it is something that a lot of women struggle with. If you are a nurse, if you know that this is, and I believe she was a nurse. Like I said, I didn't keep up with this trial because I could not be unbiased or this case. But if you know that postpartum psychosis is a potentiality, if you know that all of these medications together aren't a good thing, remove yourself from your children if you feel like you're unsafe. I never got to that point. Thank goodness, thank God. But if I had, I would hope that someone would have kept me from my children, or I would have had the wherewithal to stay away from my children if I wasn't safe. If I was, honest to God, hearing voices, my first phone call better be to my husband. I'm hearing voices, these medicines. I had a point, y'all, where when I first got hurt, they put me on some really heavy duty medications. I had to call friends because I didn't trust myself driving. And, I was so embarrassed. I would call, "Hey, if you're picking up, so and so from swim practice, can you pick up my daughter? This medication's making me so, you know, dizzy. I don't trust myself driving." I didn't continue to drive because I was embarrassed. I, still stepped out of my comfort zone and called another mom, because look, asking for help as a mom is not a weakness. It We need to do better at supporting moms no matter what their choices are. I don't care if you go to work, I don't care if you use a daycare, I don't care if you nurse or formula feed, I don't care if you had a natural birth, if you had a C-section. Momming is hard, and we need to start supporting moms. There are good moms and there are bad moms out there, and we need to support the good moms and call the bad moms out on their BS. And I'm kinda calling BS on this one. So this one is gonna go to trial. I don't know if I'll be covering it, uh, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to deal with that one. Let's see here. Now, to be fair, honestly, I don't know that I would be able to control myself if I thought my child's unaliver was getting away with it. But a grieving North Carolina father attacked his teenage son alleged killer in the courtroom, quote, saying any father would have done the same thing or would have did the same thing, but did is the wrong word. Um, A grieving North Carolina father attacked the man accused of taking the life of his 16-year-old son inside a courthouse while the suspected murderer was free on bond. Shaheem Snipe, 47, was arrested for allegedly lunging at 21-year-old Marion McKnight, a man that was accused of fatally shooting his son, Jamarie Dixon, last spring at Mecklenburg County Courtroom in Charlotte on Thursday, according to Queens City News. Now, or Queen City News, sorry. The video appears to show Snipe charging at McKnight in the courthouse hallway and delivering a barrage of punches and kicks before an officer used a taser to stop the father. Yeah, I'm kind of with this father allegedly in Minecraft, although we do believe in due process. Now, McKnight was transported to the hospital following this caught on video assault. The heartbroken father was charged with misdemeanor assault, inflicting serious injury, but was released from jail just hours after posting a $1,000 bond. Now, the Dixon family said Snipe came face to face with McKnight while the accused killer is free on a $100,000 bond, a decision they believe never should have happened. Now, following the attack, Dixon's aunt, Susan Sherrill, shared the emotions had boiled up for Snipe when he encountered McKnight outside the classroom. He did what he had to do as a father, Sherrill told the outlet. Now, any father would have did the same thing. We're still grieving. This is a wound that will never close because my nephew was 16 and he should still be here with us. Now, the confrontation stems from a deadly shooting last year that took Dixon's life. Police say Dixon was shot during the incident on Cloud Parkour on May 23rd, 2025, according to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. Now, officers responded to the incident around 5:30 p.m. and located 3 victims, who were teens with gunshot wounds at the park. All 3 were transported to local hospitals, including 2 with life-threatening injuries. Now, Dixon was unfortunately pronounced dead 2 days later at Atrium Health. Investigators identified McKnight as the suspect and obtained a warrant for his arrest, transferring him to the Mecklen County Sheriff's Office after detectives questioned him on May 28th. Now, McKnight has been charged with murder in connection with Dixon's death, but has been released on bond. How in the hell do you get a bond for a murder charge? I mean, again, I could have been with you on justice reform, but then you made it dumbassery like this. Now, McKnight has been living at his mother's home under electronic monitoring since his bond was, issued. Officials say that McKnight returned to court on Thursdays as prosecutors sought to revoke his bond in a motion filed on February 18th. The 16-year-old's mother, Lynette Dixon, said she wasn't at the courthouse during the attack, but later watched the video and admitted it brought her a rare moment of relief. My face smiled. She said, I smiled. That was the first time I've had a real smile since my son's been gone. Kind of hard to argue with that. Now, since I've brought you black pill after black pill, I have 4 stories for Final Form Jesus, and the final one is actually a puppy kitten moment. So we are ending on a good story, but here they are, the headlines that will make you wonder, are we living in the end times? Please? Because what more can we add to this timeline? 2026 on Spinal Tap 13 for some reason. But here they are, the headlines that'll make you go, huh.
Cheeky skeptics grow, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Well, I can't see this going horribly, horribly, horribly wrong, but giving us internet gold. Now, angry Burger King customers, you can have it your own way, can call the president, yes, the president of Burger King, to complain directly. And yes, he intends to respond to everyone. Shit posters of the internet, do with this information what you will. I don't encourage you to send crank calls to the Burger King president, but sure, Burger King is taking customer feedback personally, giving out the company's president phone number so people can contact him directly. While the companies ask for feedback through surveys or emails, the fast food joint is giving customers a direct way to give the brand's leadership insight into what they're actually experiencing. This can't go badly at all. Guests can now call or text Burger King president Tom Curtis directly to share their personal experiences and feedback. I am sending him a text today because when I order a Whopper with just plain mustard, I don't want to be asked if I want cheese with that. I would have asked for a cheese Whopper or a deluxe Whopper, whatever. Again, Robo, I give up. I give up. Now, the brand shared that Curtis will personally make as many phone calls daily as he possibly can, and every message from fan will be reviewed and responded to. As the home of Have It Your Way, our guests are our most important advisors. Curtis said in a statement, we're grateful that they provide feedback that's shaping our brand today and in the future. Burger King shared that their guests submitted feedback and ideas had been part of the brand's success, such as menu innovations, including the $1 Million Whopper contest, and modernizing the restaurant and improving operations. So there you go. If you'd like to, just completely go with it, there you are. I mean, I just don't know. Well, aliens are among us, and not the kind that are trying to be deported by the current administration. ET aliens, not, the other kind. We're in the timeline where I have to clearly delineate which kind of alien I'm talking about, and it's not a joke from Aliens, the movie, where Martinez, the really buff woman, thought it was about illegal immigrants, not aliens, like extraterrestrials. Anywho, President Trump has told the Pentagon to release files on UFOs and alien and extraterrestrial life. So there you go. We're getting the alien files. Men in Black, Will Smith may or may not be involved. In a Truth Social post, the president told Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other agency heads to begin the process of identifying and releasing any relevant UFO files. He called for the release of any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. I mean, I'm here for aliens. Yes, probably. So there you go. We are getting aliens in the news. I thought this was a joke. Sure, she has an emotional support chicken. A professor travels with an emotional support chicken. She can understand my emotions. No, she understands that she's not being made a Egg McMuffin. A Canadian psychology professor who studies how relationships with pets support healthy development has her own unusual therapy animal, an emotional support chicken to assist her with daily life. I feel like she's so smart and she can understand my emotions, said Sonia Kong. Um, she told the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation about an 11-month-old bird she's named Saturday for the day she adopted it from a barn outside Prince George, British Columbia. When I was sad, she'd just lay there looking at me, trying to figure out what's going on. No, she's a sentient chicken nugget. The chicken isn't thinking, she's thinking, "Thank God I'm not gonna be a KFC bucket meal." That's not what uh, she's even crafted a special diaper for the chicken so she can travel around the city. Kong, who teaches at the University of Northern British Columbia, is currently researching how pets impact the social and emotional development of teens through an online survey. She's getting money for this shit? Why didn't I go into academia? I have dumb ideas and I wanna get paid. She's conducting the international study with Tracy Wong, an assistant professor at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. You know you can't take your emotional support animal over to China, it's gonna end up as dinner. We want to see whether there are cultural differences in how spending time with pets may influence adolescents with different cultural backgrounds. Now, Kong's parents are still getting used to the idea of her daughter's new pet, asking if she planned to eat it. Yeah, they're like, that is food, not, not. It's like, I will not eat her. She is a pet, apparently, is what she has to constantly I can't imagine, like, why you bring Nugget to table? It's my pet. It could be dinner. But in our happy puppy moment of the day, because we do have a happy puppy kitten story before we get into the craziness that I found online. And look, we've seen this headline, we've seen this timeline, and at least we have some happy moments.
When the world feels like a dumpster dive and humans forget how to thrive, take a break, just you and me, with a puppy and kitten, wild and free. Paws and purrs, let's drift away to a land where tails wag and play. No more noise, just gentle muse in our furry four-legged cruise.
All right. Well, JetBlue has found a forever home. Now, this douche canoe, whomever they are, they have been blacked out for their own shame, decided to take this beautiful, adorable little puppers and leave them at the airport because they are a douche canoe. A sweet 2-year-old dog that was dumped at a Las Vegas airport by its owner, I think we mean by its douche canoe, has found a forever home. Jamarion Bryson, 26, allegedly abandoned her golden doodle inside Harry Reid International Airport earlier this month after staff told her that he couldn't board the flight. After 10 days with Animal Protective Services and a search for a new home through a nonprofit retriever rescue of Las Vegas, the pup was adopted by the officer who rescued him. Las Vegas police officer Skeeter Black adopted this pupper and nicknamed him Jet Blue, the department wrote on Facebook Saturday. Weeks after being found to a baggage sizer inside Terminal 3 at Harry Reid International Airport, the dog, now known as Jet Blue, is officially on the way to his new forever home. Officer Black and his family have already been approved to the retriever rescue of Las Vegas months earlier when searching to adopt a golden doodle of their own. Following the mandatory hold period, the rescue organization selected them to provide JetBlue with safe and loving home that he deserves. The heartwarming montage was also shared by the department, featuring a compilation of slow motion clips and photos of the Black family, with the puppy Oh, look, he's got a family. I'm so happy. Look, he's grinning. I hope they got him a pup cup on his way home. Now, his douchey McDouche face former owner has been charged, and with animal abandonment and resisting arrest. Bon voyage, bitch burrito. Do or don't drop the soap. That is a personal choice. But if Gen Pop justice allegedly happens in Minecraft, my tears will be non-existent. So there we go. I am glad he has a forever ever home now, and this woman will never be allowed to have pets ever again. Just butt monkey behavior. Well, I do have some fun clips for you guys to end the day with because, why not? Let's see here. Where have we got it? I had it somewhere. I love when my things go. Aha. We have, since the Olympics are ending. Oh, can't play. But there we go. Oh, full 80s. You remember this? Oh, cool. Who does? This was created by some hillbillies. Y'all know that someone was like skiing and Roman candles. I can't play the music because it's probably trademarked by Tiffany. But no one decided this was a terrible idea. Also, who the hell skis with a unitard on the outside? I know this was the 80s, like, I get the 80s-ness of this, but skiing with the unitard, that that is commitment right there. What in the Okay, that's a lot of focus on the butt for I think we know who the cameraman's more interested in, and it's not the lady. Who in the hillbill I mean, this is something you could only think of if you had done some booger sugar. God bless the 80s. What the name of the crotch shot? I will never understand the 80s. What was this? It's like Escape from Colorado. I'm almost expecting Snake Plissket to come up and start skiing in some dominatrix wear and an eye patch. What is this? What in the evil Knievel? This is what it's gonna be looking like over in New York in just a couple. What in the Why are they kissing? What is going on here? I feel like there's a whole John Hughes movie that I have. What in the Uh-oh. This is some 80s softcore right here. What in the Lifetime Red Shoe Diaries is this? That's it. I'm cosplaying as this chick. I'm getting a turtleneck, I'm getting a swimsuit, I'm getting a sweatpants. Hey. What is this? No. And then, because this is more my athletic speed, these are all the puppies that may or may not have done the great job at the agility test. These are my kind of doggos.
Whoa!
That's me.
Little Jack Russell here, Ollie, with Karen from the Blue Cross. closes out the group. This is the last of the small dogs. He's all over the place, and so he should be. Ollie and Karen here. Ollie was rehome from Kimpton Blue Cross when he was around 10 weeks old. A wrong way through. Oh, well, doesn't really matter, does it? When he got to his home, they changed his name to Lockie, then changed it to Ollie. So he's probably a bit confused. Some people think he should have stayed as Lockie, as he's an absolute handful. Ollie is totally crazy, as you can see. He's having a ball. Loves life.
Look, it's not his fault. He has ADHD. Let's be real. You changed his name. He doesn't know his name, and he's just having fun.
And exercise. Well done, the Blue Cross.
He's like,
persevere. First catch your dog. Oh, I love it. He'll be out in the collection room. You'll never catch him now. There we go. Well done, Karen. Look at this. Oh, what a nosedive. And he couldn't care less.
That would be me. Like, no, I'm okay. I do this all the time.
Here we go. Whey! This is Loki.
He's got to show us today.
This is
Okay. Well, Loki's
Collie,
like
Border
a
Collie. Kelly is the handler. This comes from the
Kelly
Valgrays
needs to get a more supportive sports ball.
Border Collie Rescue. And this is managing to go more or less round the course that they want them to do. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point. The point is to show what these rescue.
Is anyone else more impressed with the coaches half the time? I'm always watching the coaches and I'm like, yeah, she does need a better bra.
Dogs can do.
Try she fit.
He's 4 years old.
Kelly took Loki on when he was just 9 months old. Had to work on some behaviour issues in the first 6 months. Well, it wasn't a bad round, was it? And very happy with it. Very much committed to training. Then came the agility, which he absolutely excelled in.
So
I thought these were
Jemima
gonna be
is a
bloopers.
collie, a hunt away, nearly 3 years of age. She was picked up as a stray, taken to the National Animal Welfare Trust, Hale branch in Cornwall, lived with Feb for 15 months, and started agility training a year ago. Barks are fun, and that's the hunt away instinct in New Zealand, where these dogs originate. That's how they herd cattle and sheep there. She has boundless energy. And all these dogs will be the same. We're not expecting lightning speed, are we, over the A-frame? And actually missed the contact and went back and hit.
Oh, I think Mr. Contact, yeah, 5 points for that. But if you think I'm going to get that white bit, you've got another thing coming, I think was the expression there.
And the National Animal Welfare Trust.
He's like,
Denko with Sally, another representative of the Happily Ever After rescue centre. And they don't have kennels. The dogs are
I love, you couldn't do this with cats. Cats would be like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
cared for in the home by Kieran Adams and her family, or they're placed in foster homes.
Here we go. This is more like it. This is what we want from Rescue Dog Agility.
I'm just going to enjoy this arena. This is my time to shine. A few laps.
This is youngest, most feral.
Well, I think we need to find an athletics track and have the 400 metres. That's much more suitable.
I think she said, why should I come back when I'm getting, everybody's laughing at me, and I am just the centre of attention. And that's really great. Are we coming back?
Yeah,
In a minute? Yeah.
He's like, no,
Well done. So,
I jumped.
Crowd
I
favourite.
did.
come on, bring it back in.
Biggest baby
Oh,
ever.
the crowd wants to
Come
see
on,
the
more.
jump. The crowd want more.
Yes.
Oh, well done, Anubis. No, didn't fancy the first one. I see this lovely big space, and that means I can just have a good old run around.
Honestly, I would watch that more. I just watch dogs having the zoomies.
And both the rescue and sanctuary run by volunteers, Kerry and Andrew, really passionate about animals, these two, and
I love
Happily
this
Ever
dog,
After
like,
dog rescue out
treat.
here being
And-
represented
yeah.
at Crocs.
just as a little aside to that, Jim, they also do quite a lot of good work with rescuing dogs from abroad as well, especially Romania, places like that.
Aw.
And I should just remind everybody that, and this is not really a financial plug, but
The dog keeps looking like, lady, treat. I know in those incredibly loud pants you don't have pockets, but you do have a treat. I was told I was going to get a treat. I jumped over here. I'm looking at your pocket thing with the treats in it.
All of these things are charities. So if you've got either some time that you can go and help these charities out with, or some financial help, I know they would be very, very grateful. They're all on the internet. Just go ahead, use a search engine and put in the names of the rescue organisations that are represented here today. Not just the three we've got.
Oh, hold on a moment. Peekaboo. Well, Katie knows a thing or two about.
Well, on that note, it seems like a good place to segue because just like this puppers, 6 children does not a strong bladder make, and we have a whole new trial coming on soon. So I am going to get a bio break in and get ready to go. You guys should be ported over to the morning stream. I do have to, that just reminds me, I need to send an invite over to Nick, but I will see you guys at 10 o'clock. Because we are starting with the Corey Richens case, and it will be amazing. So I will see you guys there. Hopefully the internet corrects itself, but we are going to be there and have a great time. I am going to turn off my computer and see if resetting it will work. Fingers crossed, you guys. I will see you there. Bye, you guys.